Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Next we look at one of Miyazaki's famous films, My Neighbor Totoro.
This quiet yet fun film shows two girls and their father who move to the countryside to be closer to their sick mother. And in the forest lives a giant furry creature named Totoro, who can only be seen by children. And from this point, the two sisters have fun adventures with him.
Yes. And we have heard about this movie a lot, and it's considered one of his greatest movies from the studio and from Miyazaki himself. And we're really excited to see it, so I finally rented it. And it was a little different than what we expected. I was expecting way more fantasy, considering, the trailers and stuff. But we learned that the book was actually just very simple and calm and relaxing. That was just a little fun part of it for kids.
Right.
The story is pretty much the same. There's no big overarching plot or action like his other movies, like Howl's Moving Castle or Ponyo or Arrietty, where there's this big old plot and there's some action or adventure or something. It was just
very
a fun,
calm.
Very atmospheric and calm movie. And they were surprised that people enjoyed it this much. To this day, they are considering one of his greatest works in movies. And we enjoyed it too.
Yes, very much so. It wasn't what I expected, but I'm really pleased with what I saw. And this was actually released in 1988, I think?
I think, yeah. And then it came out in the 90s for America.
Right. So he does it again. Makes something that's beautifully animated and a story that you relate to or you are drawn into and you enjoy, except for, as you said, this time it wasn't the exciting joy, it was the calming joy. And just looking at the beauty of the artwork, and we watched the extra feature where he spoke of the backgrounds actually being based on where he grew up, and he wanted to translate that into this story and show the beauty, and he did. It was just like, this is so nice. And the innocence of the little girls running with no shoes around. And
it was actual kids doing the kids' voices.
Yes, it was Dakota and Elle Fanning.
Yeah, we were like, what?
Baby Dakota and Elle Fanning.
We were like, what?
So, yes, it's just a type of film that if you just want to have an endearing view and a relaxing view, and you just want to enjoy the beauty of animation and the beauty of seeing interactions among people and just seeing love and imagination and all these wonderful concepts, this is the movie to see. It's absolutely the movie to see. And I could watch this again and enjoy it just as much and probably more so now that I know more about why he wrote it. And again, the animation, the background animation and so forth, I can really appreciate it even more than I did the first time.
Right. And I think one of the many parts I liked about the film is that usually with a Disney, they got the tropes in here. But this was already part of the story with the mother being sick. Now, they're not clear and they're saying what it was, but when you watch the bonus features, you find out. But from the Simpsons and stuff, if you are aware of it, or know much about the medical field, you'll know from what they're describing. And for Disney usually takes out the mother or the parents altogether. And for here, this was already part of the story. This just worked out for Disney's part. I do like that when that element was in here, it wasn't a depressing or something that brings you down, or just for the sole purpose of being a tearjerker.
And it didn't overtake the story. It didn't become the story itself instead of the beauty that surrounded why they were there and how they wanted to be near her and have her included in their lives, even through what she was going through. And the great thing, it was never portrayed as, this is the time left or anything like that. Everyone she just saying, I'm going to get better as fast as I can so I can come home. And they had a little bit of a scare at some point in the movie, but it never went down the path of where it would be like the sad part of the movie. There were no sad parts. There were ones that you were like a little bit, and some anxiety for a minute or something, but that was really it. And Totoro comes in as sort of like, not a replacement, but someone they can have fun with, and it was the adventure and stuff. And also, when they got into trouble, and they would call him, and he would take them where they needed to go. And that was just a beautiful part of it. And it was like, wasn't here before.
Right.
Look, the girls were here.
Right. And I also like that when the girls told the dad about Totoro, it wasn't thinking that, oh, you're imagining things or you're lying or anything. Just like, oh, that must be one of the spirits of the forest. So either it's hinted that maybe he saw him as a kid, or this is happening to other kids since they only be seen by kids, or just like, this is something that's,
part of the culture.
Right. And it's like, maybe only you guys can see him and I can't. And even the mom, they believed it. I couldn't believe that they did it. Usually it's always, there's imagination or whatever, but he was fine with it. Right, imagination. And they understood and were fine with it. It was never anything that was like, you're overreacting or whatever. So I thought that was a really nice touch to it too.
Oh, it was, definitely.
And then for Totoro himself, he looked like a giant Pokemon to me. He looked like a Snorlax to me that actually moved.
He did. That's true, because we were saying, they were like, oh my gosh. You don't know if they were influenced. No, they weren't influenced.
Oh, no, this was long before Pokemon. Right?
So,
yeah.
No, that's what I meant. Maybe Pokemon was influenced by the movie.
Right.
That's what I was saying.
And he had all these little powers. He could fly and things. He helped make things grow because they were trying to grow a garden for their mom. And he was helping them make it grow. And he could fly and stuff. He had a giant cat bus that could morph and stuff. And like I said, most of the time he kind of came in, like I said, when they needed him, they needed help. And it was sort of like the fun aspect when, they were missing the mom and they were still finding things to enjoy there, even though she wasn't with them at the time. And the good food was, like we said, we were very happy. When we saw the end credits, you got to see a little bit what happened after the movie. So you do see that she does come home. Yes. It's just in the credits, and we were very happy about that.
Yes.
Just the whole time, because you were like, is she going to come home? And like I said, it never went down a path of, oh no, something's going to happen. They just kind of explained that it's kind of been up and down, but they were never really sure. But they always said, she's gonna come home, she's gonna be fine. And we were happy to see that during the end credits before the movie's over, she's finally back home with their daughters. Yes. I thought that was just a really sweet thing.
Yes. And I love movies like this because yes, we love our superheroes, yes, we love our anime and action, but sometimes I just love the movies like this that convey the innocence of childhood. And no matter how old you are, you're drawn into it and you remember and you enjoy the experience. Like Christopher Robin had the same effect on me, where I could watch it again and again because you were just transported back to that time that you think you've lost, but when you encounter it, all those feelings come back and the happiness comes back. And it's just a wonderful type of movie to watch, just so you remember that the world is magical and that there's beauty everywhere and that in the simplest things we can find joy and be entertained.
Right. So, if you have seen My Neighbor Totoro, please let us know what you thought of it in the comments. And if you haven't, you can rent it or stream it or buy it. And please let us know what you think of it after you see it.
Yes. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and click the notifications bell to be kept up to date on our podcast, especially this summer when we do our June and July.
Right, because you're definitely going to love that time of year. It's just as special as the holidays. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you want to do? My man, it's on you. My dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the